Hello, everyone, and welcome to week 8 of your developmental writing class. This week, we are going to be discussing several things, including beginning to develop your argument essay. So, I am going to go ahead and share my screen with you and talk to you a little bit about what we have to do this week. The first thing I want to talk to you about is going ahead and working on your argument essay and beginning to build your outline this week. And I'm sorry, I am not showing my face this week, but I am um, definitely um, not feeling the best this week if you can't tell. So what we're going to do is I'm sharing my screen with you right now, and you can see I have your course. But the first thing I'm going to talk to you about in week 8 is how to use the library. So I'm just going to go to the Panther Central page and log in for you to show you how to use the library. I've also included a handout on how to use the library, but being able to use the library effectively is a really important tool in student success at the college. So I'm here on my Panther Central homepage. I logged in, of course, as an employee and not as a student, but I wanted you to be able to see. Um, the first thing I want you to do is to scroll all the way down and you'll see an area that says library resources. Because for a lot of you, this is your first course, you will probably not have used the library before. But it is critically important that you know how to use the library for success. So we are working on getting you to where you need to be. Um, with that being said, you're going to um, decide what you're going to write on. So I'm going to see, you should still be able to see my screen. Show you under week 8. So I'll go to content and week 8 so that you can see I've got here the weekly objectives. Our objectives for this week is to understand the structure of an academic essay, introduction, body, and conclusion, learn how to effectively combine paragraphs into a unified essay, to practice using the library and databases to find credible sources, and develop an essay outline using guiding questions. That being said, I have another video that is focused specifically on writing the essay itself that is included here. So this particular video is going to focus on the using the library only, pretty much. So, but and the outline assignment that you will have, which is a discussion board assignment. It is not an assignment that is turned in as a document. It's turned in into the discussion board. So just so that you can see that, I'm going to go ahead and go back to week 8, and I'm going to go under assignments and discussions. So under your discussion here, you'll see that there's an outline argument with sources discussion board, and you're going to do that after you watch the video. You need to watch the video before you do this assignment. And there will be restriction sets that you are unable to access it before then. So with that being said, one of the things I'm going to have you do is go to the library here. Like I said, it's at the bottom here of your Panther Central. Please excuse me. Um, and here you'll click on catalog and general searching. Now I'm switching back and forth with my screen, so hopefully you can see. But under content in week 8, you will see that I've provided you with a list of argument essay topic choices. There are 20 argument essay topics. You can choose any of the 20 topics. but you only need to choose one, and they're all connected to your readings that you've done throughout the course. So it is critically important that you choose one of these topics. If there is something that is related to um, your issue that you identified the first week of class that you want to write on that is similar to these topics, then please send me an email and I'll be more than happy to discuss it with you, or you can contact me during office hours and I will be more than happy to assist you. So I'm just going to pick one. I'm just going to copy um, and paste into the library one of these sources. Now, these are basically just arguments. It's not developed, they're just topics. So maybe I can look at, let's see here. Let's see. Language plays a central role in maintaining systems of power and inequality. So I could do that one, or I could look at cultural identity is shaped more by social expectations. So um, let's look at cultural identity and being shaped more by social expectations. So I'm going to switch back over here to the library, and I'm going to click on this button. This is catalog and general searching. And this is your best bet when you are an emerging writer and just beginning to use the library. Catalog and general searching is the best thing to use because it searches everything in the library that's available. So, as part of your academic journey, you'll have to learn how to use the library and databases for peer-reviewed sources. Um, as a requirement for this essay, you do have to have a peer-reviewed source. It can't be from Google Scholar. It can't be from a website. It can't be from a blog. It has to be from a scholarly peer-reviewed source. So I'm just going to search up um, cultural identity, and I guess I can't spell right now. That's cultural identity was the one I believe I said that I was going to look at. Yeah, by and social expectations. So I'm going to go and type that in. When you are looking at sources in the library, sometimes when you do a search, you get a lot of results. So here you see at the top, it's got page 1 through 10 of 4,661 results. When that happens, it's very important to look over here to the left. You'll see a filter where it says tweak your results. You're going to click on this button here, or this box that says peer reviewed journals, and go down here to the green button and click on apply filters. What will happen here is it will narrow your search. Now I still have 3,263 results. So I went down from 4,000 to 3,000. So it did narrow my search a bit, but it's still got a lot of sources. So I need to narrow it a little bit further. So I'm going to go back to my argument topic choices. Excuse me. As you can tell, I'm still not feeling 100%. Um, and I'm going to look at individual choice as well. So going back to the library, um, and I'm going to change my search by society. So I'm going to say cultural identity shaped by society and see what happens. Okay, that dropped it down from 3,000 to 2,478. So again, it still has quite a bit. I'm going to go back over here to peer reviewed journals. I'm going to click apply filters and see what happens. Okay, and so again, now we have 1,431. So, and you're able to kind of skim through and look and see. You've got Hong Kong and Taiwan, you've got Australia, um, cultural identity shaped by society, in, and I'm just going to type in America and see what happens. I'm just adding a little bit more. So sometimes you have to play with your search results to see what will happen. Um, okay, so this is the white working class and the legacy of the 1960s. Okay, and the presidential election. This is from identity construction to dialect birth. So that might actually be interesting. And this peer-reviewed articles are usually written at a very high academic level. So you can click on the article itself, just click on the link, and it'll give you the abstract and tell you what it's about. And you get kind of that summary there. Usually it's limited to about 150 words. So this is so-called New Englishes, distinct forms of Englishes, which have emerged in post-colonial settings and countries, have typically been regarded individually as unique varieties shaped by idiosyncratic historical conditions and context settings. Yeah, that's really way above even for me to think about sociolinguistic and language contact conditions. But I'm looking for what the claim is. What is the author trying to say? So it says here, I suggest that speech communities typically undergo 5 consecutive phases in this process foundation. And then they give names to all of the different um, foundations. And then it has the countries, Fiji, Hong Kong, Malaysia, the Philippines, Singapore, Australia, and New Zealand. New Zealand. So that might work, but maybe not really what I'm looking for because remember I typed in specifically America. Um, and so I'm looking, okay, so this is policy discourses in US language and education policy. So this might lead me down a completely different rabbit hole. And that happens. You can decide on one topic. And then as you start doing your research, your topic may morph into something a little different, and that's absolutely okay. So I can click on this one. This is from an educational journal. So this is language and education policy for English language learners. So I'm just going to click on that and click on JSTOR or look on the abstract. And this is talking about ELL learners and how it's shaped by policies that can be described as assimilationist and pluralist views of the roles. So it doesn't take into consideration cultural diversity in schools. This one would be a much better fit for cultural identity being shaped by society, which is one of the topics. So, to get to the article, I would have to click here on JSTOR. It's going to take me to JSTOR, where the article actually is, or Ithaca, or wherever the source is. And then I'm just going to X out of here. And you see right here, it has the article. I'll have to scroll down. It was written by a scholar at the University of Florida. You can click the download button here. Let me just move this out of the way a little bit. You can click the download button and then save it to your desktop so that you are able to actually have the article. But this gives you the abstract at the top. This talks about policy and bilingual students education. It kind of talks about, it tells you the main argument. It got sources as well. And it's written for an academic journal. It was written for the Peabody Journal of Education. And so it was in 2013. So it's not necessarily the most recent source, but it is a solid source for something like that you could use. So I would click download and it's going to download. You got to accept and download, accept the conditions and download. And then you can either save it to your drive, you can download it to your desktop. For purposes of this, I'm just going to download this to my desktop here. And so now when I minimize my screen, I'll be able to see that I have the article saved right here on my desktop. And so I'm hoping that you can actually even see my desktop when I share my screen. Um, but if not, then just know that it's there. If I ever want to go back, I can just click out of here and click out of here and go back to the search and hit that X button. And then I can continue looking. So this is about negative social identity and immigration. And I mean, there's lots of different things. Um, this talks about Argentinian um, and social economy, Romania and Hungarian immigrants. And so, I mean, there's lots of different aspects, and you can go down many rabbit holes in this particular search. And so, it's critically important that you are able to um, navigate the library and navigate the library well. If I were just going to do like a search for just a random thing that I needed a peer-reviewed source for, Um, if I wanted to write a research paper on the history of Broadway, um, I'm just going to just do that right now and just click. And this is just, just a random search. You see that there's 6,640 results. Again, going over to peer-reviewed journals, I'm going to click apply filters. That'll take it down, and that takes it down to 1,600 results. And so there's lots of different aspects that you can use when you're working on the library itself, because you're going to type in your topic using keywords. You don't want to type the full question. You can look at things like, keywords in the argument essay topic choices, labels in institutions. That's one of the things. Immigration narratives, cultural identity, linguistic discrimination, cultural misrepresentation. Those are the types of things that you're going to look for in the library. You want to use keywords, um, and then you'll filter your results for peer reviewed, full text. You want things that are recently published. And so typically the standard rule for that is 10 years, but you can go a little bit over that if you need to. That being said, because that will help you narrow down to stronger sources. Um, so when you're looking at it now, of course, I had searched for Broadway, but let's go back to the topics and just kind of um, so let's look at linguistic discrimination for a second. So if I go here and I type in linguistic discrimination and type that in and see what happens. Okay, so there's 10,000 results. So that's a pretty in-depth topic. Okay, so now I've narrowed it down to 8,927. That's still quite a bit. So I'm going to narrow it down a little bit more, and I'm going to put academic, ACADEMIC, success. Linguistic discrimination and academic success. So I'm going to again go to peer-reviewed journals, apply the filters, and see what happens. Now I have 146 results. So that narrowed it down drastically. So we've got higher education, we've got systemized discrimination, linguistic, racial, and cultural differences can equal mathematics success. You've got underrepresented groups in higher education, so that might be interesting. Gender stereotypes, unveiling the effects of enjoyment and hope on students' English learning efforts, and then college readiness, and engagement gaps between domestic and international students. You've got all sorts of different aspects. Typically, when you're doing one of these searches, like this one is success in learning similar sounding words predicts vocabulary depth above and beyond vocabulary breadth. And so this was published in the Journal of Child Language. So if I were focusing on a second language acquisition, for example, in discrimination, I might be able to use something out of this article, but I have to ask myself some questions. I have to ask myself, does this actually relate to my argument? Can I use this as evidence? Can I use some quotes from this article? Is the article reputable? Is the author credible? If your answer is yes, then you have a usable source, and that's really important. So your goal for this week is to find two strong sources that will support your ideas. And I don't want you to overthink it. You just want to focus on finding information that will help you prove your point, whatever your point might be. And so that is um, just the down and dirty and the skinny on how to use the library. With that being said, I'm going to stop share for just a second, and then I'm going to go back to D2L, and I'm going to go under the discussion so that you can see what you have to do this week, and understand the assignments and make sure that there are no questions about it. And if there are questions, then please make sure to reach out to me and ask them, so that I can assist you to the best of my ability. Okay, so with that being said, we have the argument outline with sources. This is to be done after you watch this video. And really, I recommend highly going ahead and writing or typing up your outline. I'm really big on pen and paper, and so I write everything down. But you have to first post to the discussion board before you can see anyone else's discussions. And you're going to create an outline for your argument essay. So, what is your topic? What is your working thesis? That's your main argument. What are three main supporting points? What are you, those are your body paragraph contents. What are you going to argue? And how are you going to argue those points? What kinds of evidence are going to support each point? How will you introduce and conclude your essay? All of those things. Um, your task is to find at least two credible sources. I've got on here Google Scholar. Google Scholar is something that you can use, but I urge you to be very cautious with that because not all sources on Google Scholar are completely reputable. They have to be academic, they have to be peer reviewed. So you want to make sure that it's been published in a reputable journal, like the Journal of Linguistics or the Journal of College Composition and Communication or the Psychology Today or one of those types of journals. And then you'll include a works cited entry for each at the bottom. A little tip for works cited, easybib.com is a wonderful site that'll help you generate your citations, or you can use Purdue OWL. They also have a citation generator, and that will help. And you're going to post your outline. You can write your outline and list your sources in the same post. You can format your outline in any way you want to. It can be a numbered list, it can be a paragraph form, whatever you are most comfortable with doing. I'm just looking to make sure that you have a working idea on where you're going to go with your essay because we are down to the last few weeks of the course. And so it's time to start working on that argument essay and beginning to think about what you're going to do. Now, in order to get full points for the assignment, you are going to have to complete and respond to two classmates. And it needs to be helpful feedback, constructive feedback. You want to look to see if their thesis is clear, if their argument is organized, and look at their sources. I don't mean look up their sources. I mean, just take a look at what they're planning on using. So if someone says, well, I'm going to use a People Magazine article, that's considered a popular source. That is not a scholarly peer-reviewed article, so that's not going to work as a source. If somebody pulls something from Wikipedia, and gosh, I hope you really don't, because anybody can edit Wikipedia, um, then you're going to need to be honest and say, you know what, that I don't think that source will work. Let's maybe see about looking up something else, or here I looked up something for you, or I checked the library and these came up in my search. Maybe you might want to check out some of those sources. You want to be polite and constructive. You also want to give them some helpful feedback. I will also be popping in on the discussion board this week to assist you on your journey and give you some feedback on where you're going. And maybe how you can expand. Of course, I not only grade them, but I don't want to hijack the conversations. This should be a conversation between classmates. If you see that one person is hanging out there and no one has responded to that student, just do a response for that student so that they get some feedback, because I don't want to monopolize the conversation. I want you guys together to have that conversation. And I want you to focus on finding information that will help you prove your point. And that's really, really, really important. So hopefully this has helped, and hopefully you don't have questions. But if you do, please, please, please reach out to me. If you're missing assignments, if you need me to reopen some stuff, please reach out to me. Send me an email, send me a text. I really need to be able to hear from you so that I can work with you on getting you through this course successfully and getting it completed. Um, that's what I'm here for. Anyway, I hope you guys have a really wonderful week. I hope this video will help you in some way, shape, or form. And please, again, reach out if you have questions. Have a happy Easter, and I look forward to talking with you guys in week 9.